Today we're going to take a look at Corvil's ability to monitor the WAN. So what we're looking at here is a global site overview of all the remote sites coming into your data center. Over in the upper left-hand side, we have more of a traditional type of metric in regards to the bit rate, or the amount of data that's coming across the WAN. On the right-hand side, we have something a little bit different. This is actually the Microburst Bit Rate. This is a new way of looking at the WAN that actually goes beyond the 1 minute or 5 minute average of a net flow, for example, and actually shows you sub-second of exactly what the effective bandwidth is of that particular site as it comes in. So we can actually see here that we're seeing around 20 meg to maybe a 40 meg peak at some point in time, all the way down here to, let's say 33 kilobits per second. Over here on the right-hand side, we're actually getting a much more significant amount of data that's crossing the WAN, meaning that we're seeing this in a different way, and we're seeing this in a way that leads me to say, hey, we have some congestion on here. Now we also have different metrics of things like inbound and outbound packets. We have our TCP round trip time, or just the overall time that we're seeing in regards to performance and degradation of your applications. We also have individual site performance. So for example, let's say somebody from the New York, Washington office called you up and said, hey, I'm having a hard time getting up to corporate today, not sure what's going on with that link, but can somebody take a look at that? We can actually drill down into that specific location. So it's pretty easy for us to do. So let's go ahead and do a couple of things. Let's go ahead and add a filter in here and just say, hey, site is New York. New York. Let's go ahead and apply that. And you know what? She called in and said it was happening within the last hour. So let's go ahead and change that to the last hour here so we can kind of see exactly what that person is doing. So clearly I have here, again, I'm getting about 2 megabits per second. Looks like an average over the last hour. But look over here. With the Corvil data and this Corvil view, I'm getting a 400 megabits per second microburst across the link itself. So there is definitely something on this link that is actually causing a degradation and causing that person to call in and complain. So let's drill down further to see if we can find out what that is. So if I scroll down here and I look at my individual site performance from New York to my Washington data center, I can see I am getting some out-of-sequence packets. So we are getting some packet loss on that particular link. So let's go ahead and drill down into it and see if we can determine what application is causing that degradation. So the next view we're going to see is link utilization. And I'm going to change this to more of a 24-hour period so we can get a better view of exactly how this thing performs over time. So what we're seeing here with link utilization is a view of the actual WAN connectivity coming into the data center. Here we're looking at the utilization outbound, and we can kind of see the average utilization that we're seeing for the last 24-hour periods. Here's my loss percentage. Interestingly enough, my loss percentage seems to go up at a time where I'm getting less amount of data on there. Why is that? What that is if you look down here to the Corvil microburst measurement, we can actually see that on average we're getting pretty straight across the board about a 400 megabits per second microburst. So there is something on the back of this link that is constantly running that's actually causing this degradation to basically occur, and our utilization outbound is sort of masking the loss percentage down below. This is a very, very difficult issue to sort of pinpoint. And if I had NetFlow at a 1 minute average, or if I had NetFlow at 5 minute averages, or doing SNMP queries, I can't see that because those averages don't allow me to see this level of detail. So I want to know, well, what is that thing? Well, as I drill down into this, Corvil will give me a view of exactly what's happening on that WAN link itself. So we see things like our 1 millisecond microburst. So this is that very fine view of what's happening at that level. I've got my TCP packet count inbound and outbound, so I can kind of see exactly how busy that link actually is. And then here are the top applications that we see across that link, the top conversations, the top listeners. Notice here I have here HTTP as my top application, which is very common that's in there. What I want to do is I want to see, if I drill in further past that 1 minute average, does my top applications change? Is that HTTP traffic the cause of my microburst? Well, let's take a look. So right now I'm going to drill down into it and change my view here. I have now going to be a 16-second view of the data itself. And look at that, sure enough, at that level, server sync actually comes to the top. It is now my top application. It is now my top culprit in regards to causing that microburst and causing those out-of-sequence packets. Well, you know what? I'm not happy with that. I'm going to go in a little bit further. I want to see what the pattern of this microburst even looks like. So we drill down into it. I'm now in a 1 second view. so I can kind of see exactly what's happening at that view. And look, I can actually see server sync is definitely the application that's causing that degradation. And if you really want to see the pattern of the microburst, I can actually drill down. Here we are, a sub-second, here at a 196 millisecond of view, and I can see what that microburst looks like. So clearly right now at this level down below, I have this application called Server Sync that's actually sending a ton of data in very, very fast intervals that's causing that link congestion. And now I can do something about it. Now I can put that Server Sync into a queue, or I can tell the teams, hey guys, you can't run that Server Sync during business hours because it's actually clogging up the WAN link.